Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, selamat petang. Thank you, Prof. Wan, for that very short introduction, my name and my place where I came from. So, my name is Zaidi Mohd Ripin, and I was tasked to talk about why I go to work. This is a very philosophical question which merits the weight and the intellect of a professor. So, I do not know whether we can do justice to these kind of questions. People always ask, why do you stop working at that place? Or why you go and work at the, but rather nobody would ask, why you go to work every day? Working is not something that you consciously think about, and you don't go to work every morning think, this is why I go to work. So this is a very difficult task. There is no reference. I haven't come up any papers on that. So this is where I work. Before I can explain to you why I go to work, I need to explain to you where I work. This is the aerial view of the campus, a School of Mechanical Engineering, and I work in a small portion of the School of Mechanical Engineering, which is the lab, and we call it the vibration lab. Okay, my research area is in the vibration lab. There's a lot of happy people there. They look stressed, but inside there are happy people. So, why do we go to work? Of course, the first is money. I mean, you wouldn't expect any other answer, right? I mean, if there is no money, you wouldn't come to work. You call it a hobby, right? So we do come to work because of money. And money is something that is that we look forward to. You know, when you begin your work, when you're very young, when we were young, our salary was lower than our graduates. So those were the days when we have salary, there's enough money to go to Pizza Hut, and the whole family looked forward to go to Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut was very, very delicious 20 years ago. Nowadays, with professor pay, Pizza Hut does not taste as good as before. Coffee doesn't taste as good as before, except when it's Starbucks. So the poor professors and the rich men, they lose the ability to taste the thing as you get more money from your work. But I wouldn't deny that we go to work for money. I mean, that is the truth, and perhaps that is the first truth. A lot of people stuck at the first truth. They work for money because they say that money is not everything. Money is the only thing. So they were stuck with that perception, with that truth for the rest of their life until the day comes when they retire from USM and they discover they have millions in their accounts. But we need to move from the first truth to the next truth. And I remember that money, until today, is becoming the biggest or the most powerful way of measuring your performance. You cannot claim yourself to be successful if you don't have money. And this brings me to this guy, this Gordon Gekko, where he said that greed is good. What used to be a major sin is now becoming a feature that is being imbibed into this modern creature, this Darwinian creature that we are creating now. So this greed is good reminds me of Professor Zaharin. Professor Zaharin once in a workshop in a biology center somewhere in Mukahid, he used to say this sentence. I remember it until today. If you are smart, why are you poor? So we just came back with PhD and we were very poor. We drive like the Proton Saga second-hand, and you can see all those second-hand cars being parked near the schools and so on. We think we are smart, but we are definitely poor. So money has become the measure of your intelligence, and money has become a measure of your success. Money has become a measure of almost everything in your life. But there is also you will miss a lot of things from money. And I will tell you why. I would like to explain why I go to work from two angles. These are the students and society. So sometimes you cannot explain things in terms of facts. I learned this from the great scholars like Maulana Rumi, when he wrote Masnawi. I learned that sometimes facts are best represented by stories. So I'll start with some stories. I've got a lot of stories this afternoon. I'm not sure whether 15 minutes is enough, but bear with me. The first story. There are only 3 stories with the students and 1 story with the society. The first story with the students. 17 years ago, when I was supervising a young lady, a very small, timid young lady, for her final year project. And then at the beginning of at the middle of the project, there was some problem. She did not turn up for the meeting. So I was asking around, where is she? And nobody knows where she is. So we called the phone's number that was there in the file. Nobody picked it up. There were no handphones at that time. So we dig up in the files and got her address, somewhere in Felda in Negeri Sembilan. So I drove there to Negeri Sembilan. I bring my father with me, my late father, because there were no ways. So if you do not know your way in Negeri Sembilan, you are lost in that Felda. So at least I have my father who used to live in Negeri Sembilan. So it was quite late in the afternoon, about 6:30, and somehow we got lost in that Felda. And we found a small grocery shop in the middle of palm trees. And I stopped by, and I went down and asked the man there, an old man, can you show me this address? Do you know this person? And she said, she is my granddaughter. She is my granddaughter. So I asked him, why is it that she's not coming? And then he explained that I do not know what happened to her, but I will tell her. I asked the pakcik, please tell your granddaughter to come and see me as soon as possible. So the next week, that girl came and see me and explained to me that her parents was just divorced. So she stayed with her mother to help her to run a hair salon in Seremban too. And I told her that with your SPM, you are not going to make it. You have to finish your degree. Let's try your best, and we come up with a schedule. And at the end of the day, she finished the study. So that was the first story. The second story was one of my students passed away. It was a very mysterious way of passing away, because at the time it was like now, SCP. So they were waiting for their exam question, and he passed away in a room without any sign of illnesses or foul play. So he was 23 at that time, so it was something that it would become a police case, because police cannot explain a sudden death without any medical reports and so on. What we did was that, okay, as a deputy dean, and I went to his house. Again, the address was difficult. It was somewhere in Sik Kedah. So we drove there, almost 5:30, and the roads get smaller and smaller and smaller, And suddenly there is no signs of numbers and so on. And we found a house which looked like they just finished a kanduri. So this might be a good place to ask. So I went down and asked, and lo and behold, that is the house of the deceased. So I was speaking to his father. So his father invited us to go to the house and have tea. And this boy is one of the poor performance boy. His CGPA was about 2.04. The kind of boys or the kind of guys the university doesn't want to talk about. You don't discuss about these boys. They are just numbers on the statistics of the university. And the school also do not, as a deputy dean, you can't remember, you don't tend to remember all this. So 2.04, well, so way below average, just above a little bit of passing mark. So with that kind of framework, because you only judge people by those numbers. Students are judged by numbers, not how they look, but by their numbers. 2.04. Okay, I remember that. So when his father started to explain to us that when he was small, when he was in primary school, he used to be top in the class. His father doesn't know what is CGPA, but he used to he said this boy, this son of him used to be top in the primary school. So I remember that vividly, clearly until today. It was very emotional for me, because I have always judged people by their marks. That day was a turning point for me. Every person, every student that come to the university is a diamond to the family. Every one of them. And they should be treated as such. Okay, third one. It's not about all sad things, there are happy things also. All right. So the happy things. Happy things. I was fortunate enough to supervise this guy, this very talented student. I couldn't show him. So he was taking part in the Innovate Malaysia, a national level competition, competing with all other universities on electronic-based projects. And during that day is a very high pressure day. You got all the CEOs from Intel, Motorola, with all the mantris there, and going to your booth, and there was judging, and he was really working hard preparing the technical papers. There are video sessions. There are also things where they tested your prototypes and everything. And he won all the category. They've got the video prize, he got the best technical paper prize, he got the best product prize, and all in they won about 12,000 ringgit. Well, he didn't give me any single ringgit, but okay, fine by that. So during the judging, it was very intense. You know, it was very intense. And then the judging was about maybe 7 to 10 minutes. After the judging, he came and hugged me. Okay, he's a boy, okay? So he came and hugged me. At that point, I believe I have transcended the barrier of race and religion. I am now his supervisor or his lecturer or teacher, his educator, and he's now my students. And we talk about that. We always think about why we do certain things. These are the stories that shows why the students' dimension is very important to the universities. The university exists because of the students. A lot of people forget that. These are our future. These are the people that is responsible to make or to create the better society. And we need to give them values. We should go beyond facts. We should go beyond brains. We should go for the heart too. And what is lacking in this modern world is we lack love. The right kind of love. We don't do things because of love. We do things because of money. You will start with the first rule. But love is the ultimate beauty. To me, we are always looking for beauty, and the most beautiful things in our life is love. Whether with animals, whether with human beings, whether with any other creatures, it is love that makes life wonderful. Love makes life meaningful too. So let's move to the next stage where why the society part, why I go to work. We do research in vibration, all right? When it was the previous administration, we were looking at the bottom billion, why? And these are the one thing that I know that I can contribute using my knowledge to help these kind of people. These are the people who uses grass trimmer, and if you pass the highway plus, you can see an army of these people cleaning the roads. When you use this machine, if you use it for 30 minutes, you will have what we call a hand-arm vibration syndrome. You feel numb. After 30 minutes of using it, you cannot write your name properly. These guys use the machine for 6 hours a day. They will get paid about 50 to 70 ringgit, and there is no protection from them. Soon they will damage the nerve of the hands. And they use this for 6 hours a day. And based on a European standards, we have done some measurement here. It's only safe for them to use 30 minutes a day. So what we did was that we carry out a research, a PhD work level, come up with good publication, but those are nothing compared to a solution that we come up. We come up with a simple solution, a rubber-mounted device that can reduce the vibration transmitted to the hand by 75%. Now they can use the device for 6 hours without damaging their nerves. They will still feel numb, but the vibration level is much reduced, not to the dangerous level, according to the European standard. But what have we learned? So we try to sell this, we try to sell it. It's 10 ringgit per device. It's almost, the price is equivalent to a pack of cigarettes, right? But they would rather buy a pack of cigarettes than buy this. So we learn one thing about the economics of the poor. If you read the book by Mukherjee on the economics of the poor has a different way of thinking. They would buy sugar rather than buy a nutritious food because it gives them a good kickback or something like that. So a cigarette is more valuable than their health. So all this iklan, all this advertisement will not work because we do not understand the mind and the psyche of the poor. So we did that, and we distribute it to the kampongs and so on and so forth, and this is what we do. The last thing, or the last thing that I want to share to you is that what we are doing now. We are making a TREMOR assessment system that is being used to evaluate Parkinson's disease patients. Okay? And these are the system that is developed based on our understanding, based on our engineering understanding of things. We do not have the knowledge of the doctors. But what we can do is to help the doctors quantify how big is your tremor, because currently they are using visual assessment, or your vibration is 1 inch or here, and then you are scale 0 to 4, and that gives you where you are in the advancement of your Parkinson's disease. So why we do this? Because we are an aging nation. Soon 20% of us will be 60 years and above. And when you get to this point, a lot of us, some of us, will have Parkinson's disease. And at that point, you can't even drink on your own, or you can't even feed yourself. You need somebody else to feed you. And as engineers, as a responsible researcher, as a responsible citizen of the country, we should do and use our brains, try every bit of our neurons to come up with devices that can help to measure and perhaps to arrest the tremor mechanically. Currently, they are giving you medicine. This medicine is playing with your brains. When you eat L-Dopa, you will see things. You will see things. And if you, some Parkinson's disease patient will say there's somebody behind you, there's somebody at the door, because they are seeing things. This hallucination is part of the side effect of the drugs. So we think that a mechanical solution is perhaps the one with the least side effect. So I will stop there, and I'm going to share with you that I think my answer to that, why I go to work, is because I think there's love inside us. There's something that is natural to us. Do we really care about what people think about us? Maybe. Is money important? Yes. What is more important, I think, is because of love. Thank you very much.